Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Steve-O here, back for another one. Today we're going to take a look at this 2018 SG Standard. Let's get a good look at her. I've owned this guitar for about 5 years now, and it's been a lot of fun, so I figured we'll take a quick review at it. So starting with the body, obviously, being that it's a Gibson SG, it's got a solid mahogany body. The SG stands for solid guitar. Coming in here, look at her knobs. Those are speed knobs that I have changed out from the originals. This thing does have a few different parts to it. We will go over that. But here's your aluminum stop bar tailpiece. Your Nashville style two-nomatic bridge. Those have a Allen key adjustment for changing your bridge height up and down. Now this guitar originally had the 61 rhythm and treble lead pickups in it, and I changed those out, and now we're rocking a set of Seymour Duncan Antiquity PAFs. Very nice, classic sounding, good for blues, good for classic rock. This also features the short pick guard. So on a lot of SG standards, they have the whole guard that comes up into here. It gives it a different look. Then you don't have your pickup rings and stuff like that. So I also changed out the strap buttons for, these are a set of diamond posi locks, and these are from the 80s. They were a Gibson part. They came on a lot of their like Les Paul customs and stuff like that, so they're just a diamond shape. They kind of give it a sharp look. They're made out of nickel, so they got that kind of, that hue to them that's almost like gray compared to chrome. And I want to chrome or nickel out the rest of the parts. The pickup covers are nickel, and they come with this factory aging from Seymour Duncan, so that's why they look tarnished. But I'll put a clip in at the end of the video, and we'll go over all the, I change the pickups out, the wiring harness, the knobs, and the strap buttons, but I'll do a little segment on that at the end. So yeah, mahogany body, standard SG. They don't have, like on an old or a vintage SG, they have a lot wider bevel, and it sucks because on the custom shop you pay to have that wider bevel in here, like how they made them back in the day. And I'm not sure if the bodies were a little bit wider to accommodate that, but on a modern SG you got this thin bevel. I don't think it looks as good, but let's move on to the neck. So the neck is also constructed of mahogany. Obviously on the back side, we have a rosewood fingerboard, which is very nice. Plays like butter. Got acrylic trapezoid inlays. Fancy word for plastic. White binding with your fret markers up and down the side. So this features a 24 3/4 inch scale length, which is standard of most Gibsons. For anyone who doesn't know what a scale length is or what the measurement means, it's from your nut to your bridge saddle. That is the scale length of your guitar, 24 3/4. We got 22 medium frets on here. And so Gibson calls these cryogenically treated frets, and that's just a fancy word for, essentially it's a metal treatment they do on them to harden them. And the idea behind that is that they won't wear and they're supposed to last a lot longer. This is a topic of debate on the internet. Some people say it's snake oil. Other people say it works great. Now, I will say this is made in 2018, and I have played it heavy since I've owned it for the past 5 years, and it doesn't really show any fret wear, so maybe it does work, but I'll let you guys decide on that one. Down here we got our tenon cover. So being that this is a set neck guitar, obviously the neck sets down into the body. If you were to take this plastic piece off, it you would see the neck tenon in there. So I will say QC on that, not that great. It's a little bit too wide for that gap in there, so it kind of doesn't fit in there nice. It's hard to see that, but so yeah, we have a tectoid nut, which is another fancy word for plastic. It's just a synthetic nut material is all it is. Truss rod cover, says SG on there. You got your Gibson crown inlay, your Gibson logo. Man, she's dirty, huh? And you got Grover kidney style locking tuners. So we'll show you the lockers on the back here when we flip it over. So yeah, that is the front of the 2018 Gibson SG Standard. Let's flip it over. Looking at the back of the guitar here, you got your pickup cavity cover. It's made out of kind of like a rough or textured plastic material. Here's a better look at that strap button that I put on there. Man, all the dings show up once you get it on camera. This one, I gigged it pretty hard, and it's got some buckle rash and stuff like that. Here's another look at that strap button. Slim taper for the neck profile. These have a very thin D-shaped neck. Some people call it a blade neck. It's a lot wider, got more wide shoulders on it. Quick playing neck, very smooth, comfortable. Coming up to the back of the headstock, oh my god, it's not broke, look at that. No, I'm just kidding. Here are your Grover locking tuners. I love a good set of locking tuners for changing strings. It's so easy. Anyone who doesn't know how they work, it's very simple. You just, this wheel on the back either tightens or loosens, and then there's a post that pokes through the front of the tuner. And you stick your string through, you just stick it straight through, take all the slack through with it loose, and then you tighten it up and boom, you're done. That string is locked in and it can't move. So serial number and made in USA stamp. I will say they did not stamp this one hard enough. Very hard to read. It probably looked fine before they painted the guitar. And then they painted it. And it shows up better on camera than what it actually looks in person. But probably went a little heavy on the paint. Which, we should talk about that too. This is nitrocellulose lacquer. This is the stuff you want on your guitars. Helps the wood breathe. Makes it more resonant. Gives it that cool aging effect over time. So yeah, that's my SG Standard. They're fun guitars. They're really rowdy. This thing gets down for, I mean, you could do metal on this thing. It just cranks. It gets really distorted. It's not really clean tones. They're okay. It's not what I'm going to grab to do anything that I want a clean sound on or anything like that. But for rock and roll, this is your guitar. That's why Angus Young used them. So. And obviously the electronics, front pickup, both pickups, and then your lead pickup, your treble, down there at the bridge. So output jack. So alright, I'm going to move this guitar. I'm going to show you the pieces I took off and why. Alright, so let's talk about the electronics in this guitar and what it came with. So this, in 2018, the Gibson PCB system was still in production. It was a short run at the end of the Henry Dreskowitz era of Gibson. They were throwing crap at a wall and seeing if it stuck. And this overwhelmingly, other than the Robo tuners, probably had the worst response. We don't pay $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, whatever you pay for your Gibson. We don't pay to have circuit boards in there. We want hand wire guitars, old school with pots and solder, and I mean, that's what we want, or at least it's what I want, and I think most people do. So anyways, this is a PCB system. So PCB, all that stands for is printed circuit board. This is just a circuit board. This stuff cut down on assembly time for them at the factory. They didn't have to solder, you know, all this stuff came pre-assembled, or they made them there. But biggest thing, people don't like these, they sound like crap. And I've A/B'd these guitars with ones that were hand wired. I had what was it, a 20, I think it was a 2020 Standard that had the same 61 rhythm and treble pickups, but it was hand wired with orange drop caps. Night and day, that guitar blew this one out of the water. So that's why these parts are out of this guitar. So that's the PCB system. If you have a guitar in it, or if you have a guitar with this system in it and you want to upgrade, do it. You won't regret it. But I will say it was a good idea having a quick connect system where you could, you know, take pickups out or whatever. I liked that part of the idea, but it didn't work. They didn't sound good. So taking a look at the pickups here, I just pulled out the bridge. You see it had a quick connect on the back. Patent applied for, probably not. Lead 61. It's nice that they date them. I always think that's a nice touch. But yeah, these were the 61s, and like I said, I've played them in other guitars and I really liked them. But with the circuit board system, wasn't the biggest fan. So, and these were the black top hat knobs. This was just cosmetic. There was nothing wrong with these. I just prefer the look of the speed knobs. And with the speed knobs too, I put the little thumb bleeder tack things on there so you can see where you're at. Just a touch, something I like, a little personal. So, and then yeah, I don't have the strap buttons out here, but they were just standard strap buttons, so nothing much to talk about there. So, all right, everyone. Oh, turn the camera on. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want a longer, more in-depth review, we can do that. Drop a comment down below, like the video, subscribe. Every little bit helps grow the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.